Let's see. Temperature check. Yep, nice and warm. Very little breeze. Perfect weather for shooting long distance, about 10 yards. All right, what do we bring today? Let's see. Charter Arms, Undercover, always a good choice. Ooh, Smith & Wesson Model 60. Very nice. Nice. All right, what else? Ooh, what is this? Smith & Wesson. What is that? Model 64. Very nice. Yep. What else did they bring? Ooh, Model 36 3-inch. Yep, that's always a fan favorite as well. Ooh, Model 10 snub nose. Pow, 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 pow. Yep, time to get some shooting done. You know, every once in a while, you just need to take a mental health day. Today's a Wednesday. Beautiful sunny day. November 2nd. It's 60 degrees outside. And I decided to take a day off from work and come out here to the range and just have some fun. So I brought an array of guns in my favorite caliber, 38 Special. And I figured I'd just take some shots at a target at about 10 yards. Maybe it's 8 yards. I don't know. I didn't measure it. Somewhere between 8 and 10 yards. But I figured I'd have some fun with my 38 Special guns, or at least a couple of them. Starting off first with a classic. This is a Charter Arms Undercover. This is a somewhere around, I think, an early 80s model. This was still when they were made in Stratford, Connecticut, I believe. Yep, Stratford, Connecticut. I actually have two blued models made in Stratford, Connecticut. One's from the late 70s, one's from the 80s. I think this one's from the 80s. Just testing this guy out, single action, double action. Again, at about 8 yards, something like that. Shooting at silhouette target. Let's see how we can do and make sure it functions correctly. Definitely seems to function fine. And I'm saving all my 38 Special brass because now I have all the dies, all the powders, a bunch of bullets, and I have primers coming this week so I can reload 38 Special. So I'm saving all my 38 Special shells so I can reload them. That was 5 shots. The first 3 were a little bit right of the bullseye, and then 2 were right in the oval and the bullseye, and that was in double action. Let's take a couple more shots here. So in double action, I tend to pull this one a little bit to the right, and I know it's me because I don't pull the trigger correctly. With the tip of my finger, I usually pull it around the first knuckle. So I'm a little bit off on my target, but it still shoots fine. Let's do some single action and see how much better I can get. I really enjoy these Charter Arms. They're budget-friendly revolvers, and they just function really well. Let's see how I do in single action. So let's move on now to the Smith & Wesson Model 60. And another thing I've noticed when I do videos like this where I shoot a lot of similar guns but different makes and models back to back to back is my accuracy tends to suffer a little bit, mainly because I'm going from one sighting system to another sighting system to another, different length barrels, different triggers, and you can kind of be a little all over the place. But for a general remark, I can usually get similar accuracy out of different guns after the first shot or two. So this is a Model 60. This one has been bobbed with a hammer. Very smooth action. A friend of mine did the work on this, and it shoots just remarkably well. This one I was much closer to the center of the target. I did pull them a little bit to the left and a little bit high. So again, just getting used to the sighting process on this gun versus the Charter Arms is a little bit different. So let's try that. If I pull the trigger a little bit, pull the hammer back, I can still shoot this in single action, though it's not very easy to get it to this condition. And that was right in the head. So let's try that again. bullseye right in the head on that target. So while it's not the easiest thing in the world to cock the hammer on this, single action shots with this revolver are just unbelievable. Yeah. It's very accurate in single action mode. I love this gun. This is a Model 64, which these were used by a lot of law enforcement agencies all the way up into the 80s. This is a 6-shot K-frame, where the Model 60 is a J-frame 5-shot revolver. This is a 6-shot, and this is only in 38 Special Plus P, where the Model 60 was 357 Magnum as well. So this one will only shoot 38 Special and 38 Plus P. I'm just shooting some 132 grain full metal jacket PMC bronze out of this today, 38 Special. Nothing crazy about the ammo, but again, just fun to get out. And the reason I like the Model 64, it has the same trench sights like you would have on any J-frame or anything like that. So it's really made to be a carry gun. Low trench sights, same ramp front sight, and double action, single action. This particular one does have the lock on it, but I've never had them go wrong and fail, so I don't really care that much. So let's see how I can do with this guy in double action. Oh yeah! Yes! So I know why law enforcement wanted to carry these for so many years. The 4 or 4 1/8 inch barrel that's on this gun is deadly accurate. I put 5 shots within less than 2 inches of each other at 24 feet, around 8 yards. The trigger is unbelievably smooth. The weight of the gun allows you to bring it back on target very easily, and it's just a phenomenal shooter. Let's do some single action shooting and see if I can get a little bit more accurate here. And again, this one, the sighting is a little bit different. So because of the longer barrel, the ramp sights effectively look a little bit different to get them in the same picture that you would have with a short barrel. This little guy, I've only done a couple of videos on it. My Smith & Wesson Model 10 38 Special snub nose. This is one I waited and looked for about 2 years before I found it. Paid a premium for it. This was over $700. I think it was around $750 or $710 or something like that. But I like they kind of look goofy because it has a huge K-frame square grip on it with a little stubby barrel, full hammer, 6-shot revolver. Just a great gun to shoot. But going on to the Smith & Wesson Model 10 snub nose revolver. Again, just like the other ones I was shooting, all of these today have just a trench rear sight with a ramp front sight. These are all kind of the same manual of arms when it comes to shooting them. They're all single action, double action, 38 Special or 357 Magnum, same type of sights. And I just have K-frame models and J-frame models, and that's all I'm shooting. I just always get a smile on my face with these revolvers, especially this one. And it's kind of odd, like this one actually came with a Tyler T-grip on it, and I sold it because I didn't particularly like it. But now that I'm shooting it again, I almost kind of wish that I still had that T-grip on here, because the gun does tend to kind of move a little bit in my hand. So I got to like grip it further down and keep my fingers out of this nostril area to really be able to shoot it well. But I mean, it's meant to be something you pull out quickly and you just point and shoot. I had a misfire there. I think it was because I halfway stroked it. I didn't pull the trigger all the way back, but fantastic gun, single action or double action. That's actually worse than I normally do with the Charter Arms Undercover, but let's go ahead and move on to the Model 36 Smith & Wesson. This is a 3-inch barrel, and again, I'm shooting double action. So right there, you can see the difference between a trigger that I'm used to in a J-frame versus the trigger that's in the Charter Arms. Charter Arms are a little bit heavier, not quite as smooth. So moving on now to the Model 60 Smith & Wesson. This is a snub nose, but it's a 357 stainless steel gun, so the gun's a little bit heavier, and it does have trigger work done to it. So again, I'm a little bit more familiar with the J-frame triggers, but those weren't the greatest shots I've ever taken with that gun. Moving on now to the Model 10 snub nose. And again, not the greatest shots I've ever taken with that gun. And this is the Model 64, 4 or 4¼ inch barrel. So again, I'm very consistent on my shooting with these. Consistently high, about 2 to 3 inches with all of the J and K frames that I shot. And the Charter Arms Undercover, I was just a little bit all around the target. So that's just a little look at the accuracy that I can get out of these particular revolvers when I'm shooting pretty quickly and I'm shooting different models back to back to back to back. Again, not necessarily the best groups I've ever gotten, but fairly consistent. Most of the shots I took with the Smith & Wessons were in this hole up here. You know, I had some that were a little bit low and right and some that were left. You saw it as I was shooting it. But overall, I'm still happy with those. I love shooting those revolvers. They're just great guns.